If you are a gamer, you have to hop onto your gaming device and play what is now one of the greatest RPGs, the greatest games ever made. I reviewed Cyberpunk 2077 earlier in the year, and even then I was super positive about it. Now, with update 2.0, it's like having a decent car, ripping the machinery out and replacing it with a mega powerful engine, improve the seats, and basically turning it into a Ferrari. The combat has been improved, the graphics, the bugs are gone, and it is now an absolute masterpiece. It is perfect. It is the best looking game I've ever played, and my last review has over 1,000 views, so wake the f*** up, samurai, we're doing it again. Before I continue singing the praises of this game for the next few minutes, it would mean the world if you gave this video a like. Liking helps this video reach new people around the world, and it helps me out massively, so thank you for that. I absolutely adore Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, I always liked it, even when it was the gaming equivalent of my first part-time job in my local restaurant, full of bugs. But now, it is glorious. I liked it so much, I literally bought a Cyberpunk 2077 chair, and I regret nothing. There's no two ways about it. Cyberpunk is a special game. The thing Cyberpunk has always had going for it from day one is the acting and the characters, the friendships, the romance options, having Keanu Reeves there with you 24/7. The characters in this game is the thing that sticks out the most and why I love this game so much. This is how good they are to me, right? I've just finished playing a phenomenal game called Baldur's Gate 3, and that is a masterpiece as well. I would 100% recommend playing that if you get the chance. One of the best things about Baldur's Gate 3 is the same as Cyberpunk, the characters, the acting, and the romance options. Having played both Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate 3 back to back, it made me realise that as good as Shadowheart is, she's no Panam. I think everything Baldur's Gate 3 does with romance and friendships, I think Cyberpunk is just as good, if not better at times. There is no game as immersive as Cyberpunk in that way. It's all first person, and when a character is talking to you, they are speaking directly to you, the player. If you love games like Mass Effect or Baldur's Gate for getting to know the characters, Cyberpunk will blow your mind. There wasn't any moment I was pulled out of Cyberpunk from the acting, from any character in the game. Everything was real. When you're in a car with someone, you feel like you're in the car with them. I think the music is perfect in this game for the quiet moments with characters. The soundtrack is incredibly ambient and atmospheric. My favourite moment in the entire game is not a fight or driving around the city. It is a moment that I have, that you will have, with Panam sitting on a couch. If you have never played Cyberpunk, that might sound crazy, but if you have, you know exactly what moment I'm talking about. It's a combination of the first-person gameplay, atmospheric music, perfect character animation, lighting, voice acting, writing. Everything comes together for this moment that lasts literally 3 minutes, and you will get completely immersed. The game will pull you in, and that's the moment for me when Cyberpunk 2077 truly shines. And there's loads of moments like that dotted throughout the game, but that's my personal favourite. And no moment in Baldur's Gate 3, Mass Effect, anything has come close to that for me. Even when the characters are threatening you, they get right up in your face, and it is intimidating. When they point a gun in your face for a moment, you as a player feel it for a second, the intensity of it. That gun is aimed at you, the gamer. I'll come back to that later, but the combat in this game, my word. What CD Projekt Red have done with the combat is unreal. My build was a Gorilla Hands build, and it is honestly immense. You can lift people up and throw them like 50 feet in any direction. Smash up cars and lampposts. It makes you superhuman, incredibly strong. Now, you don't have to upgrade your armor with clothes. You have to go to ripperdocs and upgrade your cyberware to make your skin and bones stronger. This makes so much sense to me. The cyberware actually turns you into a superhero almost. I had a brilliant fight with the Sasquatch boss fight. The boss fights, by the way, are harder now. I hit this gigantic Hulk lady for the first time. I hit her, it did like 1% damage, and I proceeded to get put on my arse constantly. An epic battle, and at one point she threw her almighty sledgehammer at me, and I grabbed it. And I didn't use it as a weapon, I just had to get the hammer off her, and slowly kept running, and was on the back foot. Eventually I got the breakthrough, and defeated her. But my word, for the first time, a Cyberpunk boss felt like a proper fight to the death. Don't even get me started on Adam Smasher. He killed me so many times. Before, he barely got a hit on me. Now, he is a monster and is way more difficult. I got annihilated. You can even deflect bullets with katanas and aim them back at the enemies. You can shoot at people driving a car. Me, I always go for a motorbike because you can zip around the city faster. This game is truly special. It's like a bigger, futuristic version of GTA. There's no online play, it's all single player, but my word, this game does not need it. There's also a brand new expansion called Phantom Liberty, starring Idris Elba. I'll do a separate video on that because it's like a game on its own. CD Projekt Red have always gone above and beyond with their expansions and DLCs, and this one does just that. But is it good? Yes. Yes it is. It is absolutely worth it. But even without it, Cyberpunk is awesome. Keanu Reeves is with you throughout the majority of the game. He is the second biggest character in the game next to V, you. At first, he is a bit scary, but eventually you realise he is there to help your character. And it is great to have Johnny Silverhand, almost like an imaginary friend that guides you through the experience. Having a massive A-list actor in a game right there with you is still mind-blowing to me. That was a genius decision for Cyberpunk 2077. I haven't played a game that had that ace up its sleeve yet. All the cast are incredible, but I can hands down say, with this 2.0 upgrade, this is the best looking game I have ever played. There are times when it is a sunset and the city looks stunning. The characters look better as well. They have upgraded the looks of the faces. Everything in this game looks sharper than it did before the update. Let's revisit the characters in this game. As I said before, this is my favourite thing about Cyberpunk 2077. And now, with all the bugs out the way and the Phantom Liberty expansion, more and more people have been introduced to Cyberpunk, and people are starting to see for themselves how good the characters and the story of Cyberpunk is. Even the police system has been completely overhauled. It is phenomenal. First things first, the hero of the story, V. You can play as either a male V or a female V. I played as the male V, and this is a wonderful character. You can pick different backgrounds, either a street kid, a nomad, or a corpo, and create your own character. For my 2.0 playthrough, I picked Nomad, and it opens up different dialogue options for you, depending on what background you choose. And for the way I like to play Cyberpunk, the Nomad background actually made my overall story better. Then you have Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, who decades ago, the evil Arasaka Corporation, the company who are the main villains of this story, absorbed Johnny Silverhand's soul into a massive computer database thing. You can slot microchips into your neck in Cyberpunk. You have inbuilt computers in your body. It's cool as anything. Johnny Silverhand's personality is loaded on one of these chips, and he ends up sharing your body. No one else can see Johnny Silverhand except you. You can speak to him and he will give you advice and help you through every side quest, every main quest. You learn more about him, and to me, no one else could have played him other than Keanu Reeves. It wouldn't be the same. However, he is slowly erasing V's personality and killing him, so that's a slight downside. The biochip that Johnny Silverhand is on is slowly killing V, and V has to find a cure. That is the story for the game. You also have great characters you meet along the way. Judy Alvarez is a character, and she is a possible romance option for the female Vs only, so I missed out on this one. However, she is a street kid who you meet in the beginning of the game, but you end up on this side quest with her, and she is a brilliant character. In my playthrough, she was like my V's best friend. She would make me coffee and let me stay on her couch when she noticed V is struggling with his condition, things like that. All the characters in Cyberpunk feel like they could be your friend in real life because of the first-person aspects of the game, which makes the immersion of Cyberpunk unmatched by any game. Judy looks you in the eyes and does her best to look out for V. When Judy phones you or offers to make you a coffee, she is speaking directly to you, looking you right in the eyes, and the acting is flawless from her and all the characters, so you are never pulled out of the immersion. You have the brilliant Jackie Wells, V's brother-in-arms. He's a big guy, he's a great boxer, and you meet his family, his girlfriend, and they basically adopt you as a family friend. You get to know all of Jackie's connections, you go on missions together and are trying to rise up the ranks and build your reputations as the best criminals in Night City, become a legend in the city. And you have lots of fantastic characters waiting for you to discover in the game, but the one that stood out to me the most is Panam Palmer. This is the character in Cyberpunk where I was like, I feel like I could go for a pint with this girl. She is a flawed character and a former nomad, living off the grid in the wasteland, and she gets paired up with V for one mission, and at first, she's a bit standoffish. You're like, oh god, I'm getting bullied. But then, you get to know her, and she becomes my favourite NPC in any game ever. In my playthrough, she was the romance I went with, and because of my nomad background, the storyline came back full circle where my V started off and where he ended up. The music for Panam is extraordinary, and this is where Cyberpunk edged Baldur's Gate 3's romance and characters for me. The animation of the characters in Cyberpunk is out of this world. There was a moment for me in Baldur's Gate 3 where one of the characters was crying and it wouldn't let me go and comfort them. In Baldur's Gate 3, whilst the facial animations are amazing, they just stand there 90% of the time speaking to each other, speaking to you. And I only realised it because of what Cyberpunk 2077 does. In Cyberpunk, they're not just standing talking to you, they're walking around, they're eating kebabs, they're putting their hands on your shoulders, they're kicking the ground in anger, they're having a beer with you. It feels like they are just naturally moving because there is so much animation for everyone in this game. There's even times where NPCs in the background are watching you in a conversation with Panam, for example, looking sad if you collapse with the biochip or something. There's so much going on everywhere. No other game does that. And this is why Panam is my favourite NPC ever. She feels like a real person, doing everything she can to help you. It's when she speaks to you one-on-one, that's when I was the most immersed in Cyberpunk. And with the 2.0 update, there wasn't any distractions pulling me out of the game at all. And it completely heightened the experience with Panam and all the characters. In the end, Cyberpunk 2.0 is an incredible experience and there is no game out there like it. I am so happy for Cyberpunk finally getting the attention it deserves after all these years. CD Projekt Red have gone above and beyond in building this game up from its buggy launch, sticking with it, and it is now for me one of the greatest comebacks in gaming history, bigger than No Man's Skies for me. Going from unplayable to almost a tech demo for how amazing games can truly look. Slick combat, amazing characters and acting, a fantastic musical score. hundreds of hours of side quests for you to get stuck into, and overall, it is one of my favourite games of all time. It has surpassed my expectations and is now getting the big 10 out of 10. It's done it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more gaming reviews in the future, and hit the bell so you get notified the second I upload my next video. Bye bye!